Welcome back to Dinar Current, your go-to source for all things related to the Iraqi dinar. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that everyone is talking about, the future of the Iraqi dinar after U.S. sanctions. For over a decade, the Iraqi dinar has been a roller coaster ride, navigating through war, corruption, and economic instability. But one of the biggest ongoing pressures has come directly from the United States, with sanctions and restrictions on dollar transactions. These actions have shaken up the dinar's exchange rate, impacted foreign trade, and tested investor confidence. As we move forward, the big question on everyone's mind is, what's next for the Iraqi dinar? Let's break it down. First, let's get the background right. Why do U.S. sanctions even matter so much? It's important to understand that these sanctions aren't targeting Iraq as a whole. Instead, they're aimed at specific banks, businesses, and financial networks that are accused of serious offenses like money laundering, corruption, or having links to other sanctioned nations like Iran and Syria. These sanctions essentially cut off certain Iraqi banks from accessing U.S. dollar reserves. Now, why is that a big deal? Because Iraq's entire economy is built on oil exports, and oil is priced and sold in U.S. dollars. That flow of dollars is the lifeblood for maintaining the dinar's stability. When the supply of dollars gets tight, demand for them shoots up. This causes the parallel market exchange rate, the one used by everyday traders, to weaken significantly compared to the official rate set by the Central Bank of Iraq, or CBI. So, how has the Central Bank of Iraq responded to this pressure? They haven't been sitting on the sidelines. The CBI has been taking a very proactive role to manage the fallout. One of their key moves has been implementing strict banking reforms. They suspended several private banks from participating in dollar auctions because they weren't complying with international transfer standards. This sends a clear message that it's no longer business as usual. Another major step is the adoption of new digital systems. To fight fraud and boost transparency, the CBI rolled out electronic platforms that monitor money transfers and verify where the funds are coming from. This is a huge leap towards modernizing the financial system. The CBI is also pushing to expand non-dollar trade. Iraq has started exploring other trade channels using currencies like the Chinese yuan, the Emirati dirham, and the euro. The goal here is simple: reduce the country's heavy reliance on the US dollar, and despite all the restrictions, the CBI continues to hold daily currency auctions. This is a critical tool to pump dollars into the market and prevents the dinar's exchange rate from completely collapsing. All these actions show a strong determination from the Iraqi government to protect the dinar and keep the economy balanced, even with all this external pressure. Now, let's talk about the immediate effects. In the short term, these sanctions have created a lot of volatility in the dinar's value. We've seen the parallel market rate consistently higher than the official rate. This gap reflects the limited access to dollars on the street. For importers, it's a nightmare. They struggle to buy goods from abroad at affordable prices, which in turn pushes inflation higher for everyone. The general public feels this directly with rising costs for essential items like food, electronics, and construction materials. It's a tough situation. However, it's crucial to understand that this volatility doesn't necessarily signal a collapse. Instead, it points to a transitional phase. Iraq's financial system is adapting, learning to operate under much stricter international compliance standards. It's a painful adjustment, but one that many argue is necessary. While the U.S. sanctions have presented some serious challenges, they've also had an unexpected side effect. They've forced Iraq to seriously rethink its economic strategy and its dependence on the dollar. This has sparked a major push for economic independence. One key strategy is diversifying trade partners. Iraq has been busy strengthening its economic ties with countries like China, India, Turkey, and the UAE. They're increasingly using local currency settlements or other non-dollar transactions to bypass the traditional system. Another big focus is boosting non-oil sectors. The government is actively encouraging investment in areas like agriculture, manufacturing, and tourism. These sectors have the potential to bring in their own streams of foreign currency revenue, which would reduce the country's over-reliance on oil exports. Finally, there's the gold and reserve strategy. The CBI has been steadily increasing its holdings of gold and foreign reserves. This acts as a crucial safety net, providing a buffer for the dinar during currency shocks. All of these moves are clear signals of Iraq's ambition to build a more self-sustaining financial system, one that's less vulnerable to the policies of any single country. So, how are global investors viewing all of this? The impact of U.S. sanctions hasn't gone unnoticed, and perceptions are mixed. Some investors see Iraq as a risky environment, and you can't blame them, given the geopolitical tensions, but others see a massive opportunity. They see a nation sitting on vast oil wealth with a currency that many believe is deeply undervalued relative to its long-term potential. The key turning point will be Iraq's success in implementing reforms. If the country can successfully establish strong anti-money laundering laws, roll out modern digital banking systems, and create transparent trade practices, the dinar could gradually regain international confidence. It is also worth noting that major international institutions like the IMF and the World Bank have praised Iraq's efforts to modernize its financial infrastructure. This kind of endorsement is huge, as it can help attract foreign direct investment, or FDI, which in the long run is essential for supporting the dinar's stability. But what about the people on the ground in Iraq? What's the public reaction? As you might expect, opinions are divided. Many ordinary citizens are frustrated. They blame the dollar's shortage for the rising cost of living and are calling for reforms from the CBI that would make it easier for them to access foreign currency for their daily needs. They feel the pinch every time they go to the market. On the other hand, there are analysts and experts who believe these tough measures are a necessary evil. They argue that this is the only way to cleanse Iraq's banking system of deep-rooted corruption and prevent illegal financial activities. Ultimately, public trust will be a deciding factor. The government and the CBI need to win the confidence of their own people for the dinar to maintain stability through these challenging times. So, looking ahead, what is the future outlook for the Iraqi dinar? Its fate really hinges on several key factors. First and foremost is compliance with international standards. The more Iraq aligns its financial systems with the regulations set by the U.S. Treasury and the IMF, the easier it will be to restore full access to dollar transactions and normalize its banking sector. Second is the diversification of foreign trade. If Iraq can successfully expand its trade relationships using other currencies, the dinar could begin to strengthen on its own, independent of U.S. dollar flows. Third, the CBI's monetary policy will remain critical. Continued intervention through currency auctions, careful management of reserves, and ongoing policy reforms will play a massive role in maintaining exchange rate stability. And finally, we can't forget about global oil market conditions. Oil revenues are still the backbone of Iraq's economy. A rise in global oil prices could significantly boost Iraq's dollar reserves, which would indirectly support the dinar's value. In conclusion, the U.S. sanctions have undeniably put Iraq's financial system under immense pressure, but adversity often breeds innovation. These challenges have forced the Central Bank of Iraq to aggressively pursue greater transparency, stronger compliance, and much-needed economic diversification. While we can expect more short-term volatility, the long-term path of the Iraqi dinar depends on how well Iraq can balance its internal reforms, its push for trade independence, and its cooperation with global financial institutions. If the current policies continue and the strategy of trade diversification succeeds, the dinar could emerge from this period stronger, more stable, and more respected on the international stage. Thank you for tuning into Dinar Current. What are your thoughts on the future of the dinar? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. We'll see you in the next video.